No one gets into a relationship hoping that one day it will end. We all start with a heart full of hope, dreams, and the vision of a happily ever after. But the statistics and the experiences of those around us tell a different story. Many relationships that begin with passionate love and excitement slowly grow cold over time, eventually ending in pain and bitterness. The question is, why? Is relationship failure just a sad, unpredictable event? Is it fate, or are there discernible patterns at work that we are simply unaware of? The good news is that relationship failure is almost never random. There are usually deep rooted, specific, and understandable reasons behind it. These reasons are like small cracks that, over time, grow deeper and eventually shatter the foundation of the relationship. Today, we are going to dissect 5 of the main and most common reasons why relationships fail. And more importantly, we'll learn how to avoid these dangerous traps and build a relationship that not only lasts, but thrives. Reason 1: the breakdown of communication patterns. The first and most important reason is something more than just not talking enough. The real problem is talking badly. Dr. John Gottman, after decades of research on couples, identified 4 devastating communication patterns that he calls the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. These 4 horsemen are criticism. This is attacking your partner's character instead of talking about a specific behavior. For example, instead of saying, I feel upset when the dishes are left in the sink, you say, you are so lazy and inconsiderate. Contempt. This is the most toxic pattern and includes sarcasm, eye rolling, name calling, and a mocking tone. Contempt destroys the sense of being loved and respected in your partner. Defensiveness. This means instead of listening to your partner's complaint, you immediately play the victim and shift the blame back onto them. For example, in response to, why were you late? You say, well, you always take forever to get ready. Stonewalling. This is when, during a conflict, one partner completely withdraws emotionally and verbally. They become a brick wall, silent and disengaged, cutting off all communication. How to prevent it? The antidote to these poisons is learning healthy communication skills. Replace criticism with a gentle startup, using I statements, I feel, instead of you always. Against defensiveness, take responsibility for your part, even if it's small. And most importantly, replace contempt with a culture of respect and appreciation. Reason 2: the buildup of unresolved anger and resentment. This reason is a direct result of unhealthy communication. When conflicts and hurt feelings aren't properly resolved, they don't disappear. They just get buried in a corner of our hearts. These old resentments act like a slow acting poison that gradually contaminates trust and intimacy. Every unresolved argument adds another brick to the emotional wall between you. After a while, that wall becomes so high that you can no longer see or hear each other. You live under the same roof, but you are miles apart. How to prevent it? Learn to view conflict as an opportunity, not a threat. The goal of an argument isn't for one person to win and the other to lose. The goal is to understand your partner's perspective and find a solution that works best for your team. Change the me versus you mentality to us versus the problem. Set aside time to discuss difficult issues when you are both calm. Listen actively to understand, not just to reply. And practice forgiveness, not for your partner, but to free yourself from the heavy burden of the past. Reason 3: the gradual loss of intimacy and connection. Many relationships don't end with a big explosion, but rather fade away with a quiet, slow whimper. This phenomenon is called drifting apart. Couples get caught up in work, kids, and daily responsibilities, and they forget to treat their relationship as a priority. They transform from romantic partners into roommates. Date nights are replaced by sitting in front of the TV, deep conversations are replaced by logistical coordination, and affectionate physical touch becomes minimal. This loss of intimacy cuts off the relationship's oxygen supply, leaving it lifeless and exhausting. How to prevent it? Be intentional and deliberate. Intimacy doesn't happen by accident. You have to make time for it. Regularly schedule date nights, even if it's as simple as a walk in the park or cooking dinner together. Set a rule for tech free time so you can truly talk. Keep physical intimacy alive through hugging, kissing, and holding hands, and check in with each other's inner worlds every single day. Reason 4: mismatched core values and life goals. Sometimes two people can be wonderful human beings and truly love each other, but they differ on the most fundamental issues in life. Core values are our internal compass. They guide our biggest life decisions. If your compass and your partners are pointing in completely different directions, your shared path will be filled with tension and disappointment. Issues like, do we want children or not? How important is money and financial security to us? What is our definition of a successful life? Where do we want to live? These are questions that can't easily be compromised on. How to prevent it? Have these difficult and important conversations in the early stages of the relationship. Don't be afraid to talk with honesty about your non negotiable goals and values. This isn't disrespectful, it's being transparent. Recognizing these fundamental differences early on can prevent a massive heartbreak in the future. Reason 5: external pressures and a lack of teamwork. No relationship exists in a vacuum. Financial problems, job loss, illness, issues with family, and other stressors are all a part of life, and they will challenge any relationship. A relationship fails when, in the face of these storms, the couple turns on each other instead of to each other, and they start to blame one another. External pressure acts like a magnifying glass, making the existing cracks in a relationship appear bigger and clearer. If the foundation of the relationship isn't built on teamwork, it will crumble under this pressure. How to prevent it? Build a strong, we are a team mentality. See external problems as your common enemy. During hard times, be each other's source of comfort and unconditional support, not an additional source of stress. Share the burden of responsibilities and remember that to get through the storm, you are each other's strongest ally. As we've seen, relationship failure has clear causes: communication breakdown, accumulated resentment, loss of intimacy, mismatched values, and a lack of teamwork against problems. But the most important thing I want you to remember is this: successful relationships aren't lucky, they are built. They are the result of hundreds of conscious daily choices. They are the result of trying to understand instead of judging, to forgive instead of holding grudges, and to stay connected even when life gets hard. Ask yourself, which of these points felt most familiar in your current or past relationships? And more importantly, what small but conscious step can you take, starting today, to build a stronger relationship? Share your answers with us in the comments. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content.